Almost every guy and over half of women watch sexually explicit videos or have watched sexually explicit videos online. What does this do to your brain? Now, speaking from personal experience, when I was caught up in this for a while in my teen years, I got to this point where even my relationships with women became weird. They became awkward. And because your mind is so fixated on sexuality and sex that you can't really have normal thoughts. You're having all these weird and perverted thoughts, and also your attraction begins to change. The things that turn you on, the things that you are sexually interested in, become more and more heightened because of the things that you're watching online. And I think a clear example of this is this pretty popular not YouTube video, but TikTok video that went viral of this podcast clip.
If my wife lets herself go after I have kids with her, if I'm going to tell her, I'm out.
This type of thinking from young men especially is a clear result from how toxic our minds have become because of what we've been watching online and what we've been given access to at a young age. I think it's a tragedy that young guys in our generation were given phones at like 11, 8 years old, and were able to watch this stuff and have their brains absolutely destroyed. Because what this means is that not only is there no understanding of what marriage really is, but it's this complete dismissal of his wife, his future wife, as a person, as a real person. She's completely a sex object to him, as somebody that he gets to look at and gets to have. And if she doesn't look as good as he wants her to look, if she's not keeping up her physique, then he's out, he's done, because he's not getting what he wants sexually from it. Now, this is pretty easy to see that this is just disgusting, but the truth is that this thinking has infiltrated our minds and our hearts and our thoughts and our attraction a lot more than we think it has. Now, the truth is, men these days, Christian men even, and I know that might be a hard thing to realize, Christian men have false and unrealistic expectations of women and their bodies, of their attractiveness. So how does this happen? Well, let's just think about it for a second. Think about men specifically. It's a men's channel. I know women have watched pornography and they probably have the same issues. So if you're a woman watching this, just know that I'm not forgetting about you. I just know that this channel, Men on Mission, is specifically targeted at men. That's why I'm talking about it in this way. So think about for men, you're watching these women online, these airbrushed women, these women that have particular types of bodies that are exaggerated. They're often exaggerated artificially, right? They're just fake, okay? And you have Instagram and OnlyFans and YouTube and TikTok and all these different places that portray women in a particular way, right? This is what the ideal of beauty looks like. And men have bought in full sale into this, right? They're completely obsessed with women and judging their bodies and rating them. Oh, this woman's hot. Oh, she's hot. No, she's not. She's mid. And we've gotten obsessed, and men have gotten obsessed. Even Christian people that call themselves Christian men, I hate to say it. And honestly, if you're a Christian man and you've been in deep on this stuff, look at your own heart. Like, seriously, if you're following people right now on social media that are sexually provocative, man, wake up. Realize what that's doing to you. Repent before God. That is destroying you, and it's destroying the people around you. And if you're in a relationship, that's even more disgusting. Stop that. Stop it now. That's not fair to them. But realize that, okay, you have this manipulated perspective, and your attraction has been so manipulated that you need to detox, because you need to understand what real women look like. Okay, they're not these people that you see online. They have real bodies. And just like you have a real body, like this is some time to take. I don't want to be harsh here, but like you got to look in the mirror and you got to realize, hey, I'm not an airbrushed, perfect male physique. I just have a normal body. And the fact that I'm holding women around me or my potential future spouse to this expectation of perfection, and I'm saying the second that they don't have anymore, I'm going to drop them, or maybe I'm going to turn elsewhere, maybe I'm going to turn into pornography to get myself off, then you got to take a hard look in the mirror and realize, hey, you're not all that's cracked up to be either. Now, it very well may be that your attraction has been broken, and this is due to years of over-sexual stimulation. And the truth is, the only way to reverse this is to detox, is to cut all of those fake things out of your life and just be in real life. Now, I know it's rich coming from a guy online that says, hey, you need to cut all this stuff out from your life and unfollow all these Instagram models and stop watching pornography online. And maybe it just seems like unrealistic. Like, it just seems like in our culture it's so sexually saturated that can you really detox from it? Well, I'm going to ask you, how much do you really care? So you need to ask yourself, how much do you really care about this? How much are you willing to cut this stuff out of your life so you can detox this? For you single guys, I would heavily encourage you that you do this now, because you will bring this into your marriage. You will. This isn't something that's just wiped away. No, you will bring this into your marriage. So detox now. And if you're looking for some help on how to break free, I'd encourage you to hit the link in my description and sign up for Covenant Eyes. It is an accountability software that you can plug in that will give basically a report to somebody in your life that will keep you accountable to not watch the things that you know you don't want to be watching. And it's 30 days free on there, so you can sign up today. What you consume is what you are training yourself to crave and desire. Think about what we eat, right? Okay, if you're eating a lot of sweets all the time, you're eating a lot of cakes and donuts and ice cream and all sorts of candy all the time, that is what your body's going to crave. That is what your body's going to crave. That's scientifically proven, okay? But if you're eating vegetables, if you're eating whole foods, if you're eating, real good, substantial, nutritious meals, you're not going to crave those Doritos. That's actually going to kind of seem disgusting to you. In fact, you're going to crave that whole meal, those eggs, that steak. Like that's what you're going to begin to crave. And so you need to train yourself what to desire and what to crave. Now, in the midst of this, God does a transforming work within us. That's where we have to begin. If you're not transformed by His grace, if you are not forgiven by Him, if you're not a child of God, then none of this even matters, right? This whole craving, this whole, training yourself what to crave and to desire. Look, because if you still have a heart of stone, one that is still incapable of doing good, basically, that's caught up in the lust of the flesh, then you're hopeless, man. That's why you need Jesus. And Jesus will transform your life. He will give you grace, and He will give you a new heart. And this heart isn't perfect, but now it's oriented towards God, and you want to do the things of God. So in the midst of the sanctification, this is where we train ourselves what to enjoy, what to crave. And so we're filling ourselves with good things and what's real. And when we could talk about real life context, you're having real relationships with women. You're having real conversations with real women. You're not going out online and looking up Instagram models. You're not masturbating. You're not watching pornography, because those things are going to distort and twist the way you see women. Now, the video that I showed you earlier was just half of it, and maybe you could call that guy evil or self-obsessed or just immature overall. But then we have another fellow that comes in later, and he really exemplifies what it means to look at your wife with the eyes of a loving husband who just adores her.
If my wife lets herself go after I have kids with her, if I'm going to tell her, I'm out.
I do portrait photography, and my wife once asked me why I don't edit her photos the way I edit my client photos. And I didn't know what she was talking about. And she said, you take off all of their flaws and their wrinkles and everything else about them. And I was like, I do the same to yours. And she was like, no, you don't. And it took me a while to realize that I can't edit her photos because there are no flaws. Every flaw that she sees is part of our history. Everything she doesn't like about herself reminds me of our 3 beautiful children. And I just can't fathom thinking the way this guy in this video thinks.
It is seeing the other person as a whole person, as a whole loved person, a person created in the image of God, that's not purely created for your own self-pleasure, but rather that you can delight in who they are and your relationship together and the blessing that they are to your life. That's amazing, man. That's so cool. And I don't want you to screw that up. I don't want you to go into a relationship and a marriage because your mind has been so distorted by the world, thinking that this is about what I can get from them. No, it's not. It's not. It's about what you can give them and provide for them, and how much joy you can take and delight you can take in them because of who God is transforming them to be and who He's made them to be. That's so exciting. That's so wonderful. I don't want you to lose that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, subscribe because I'm putting out new content out like this all the time. A huge shout out to everyone on Patreon that supports the Men on Mission YouTube channel and ministry. You guys are a huge blessing, and you can sign up down below to support what I'm doing here. I encourage you to pass this video on to a friend that you think might benefit from this content. And until next time, keep pursuing the mission.